What's up everybody, Matt Maran here for another car review. This is of course the 2018 Dodge Durango SRT. Huge thanks to Dodge for providing me with this very sweet Durango SRT to review for you guys today. So about the SRT version of the Durango, well, I'm so glad it got the SRT treatment here because it totally deserves it, and I think it looks awesome in its transformation. You got the more aggressive front bumper there, you have the Viper-inspired hood that's similar to what you see on some other SRT products and just looks so awesome here, even on the Durango SUV. And otherwise though, you have these very large wheels, 20 inches in fact, with Brembo brakes on all four corners, which give it a very sporty appearance. You have the nice 392 badges here, and then going out to the back there, you have the same great Durango wide tail lamps that span across the rear there, and you have the dual exhaust tips. And overall, it's it's understated. It's not quite as in your face as the other SRT products, I think, but for an SUV, I think it's very appropriate and fitting. And overall, I think it just looks really cool while still kind of being a little bit of a sleeper. Right, so the interior of the Durango SRT, well, it's a very nice place to be, much like any other SRT product these days. Anyway, though, first things first, sitting down in these seats, very nice seats like you see, like I said, in many SRT products, but they're great seats, and so there's nothing wrong with that at all. It has the nice like microfiber inserts here, and then you have the leather on the outsides, and just a really great seat that's got, it's a little bit of a wider seat here, I think, than some of the SRT products, but still has really good torso support here. It, hugs you in fairly well. I'm a pretty thin guy, and for me it's a little looser, but it's designed to fit all body types. And so overall, they're really great seats. They're heated and cooled as well, and so yeah, they're just really well done. Next to the steering wheel in the SRT Durango, which is really great, same as all the other SRT steering wheels, but that's a good thing because it's a great, nice, beefy, thick wheel. Has an awesome 9.3 group, nice little 10 and 2 notches. I like the little metal accents you have here on it, and overall, just a really great looking wheel. It has the nice little metal paddles that are like half paddles, like all the other SRT stuff. So there's room there for your other volume and tune buttons behind the wheel there, which is always a cool feature. You have the nice few buttons here on the front of the steering wheel, and overall, just a really great wheel. Next are the gauges in the Durango SRT, which are really sweet. I like them a lot. Similar to what you see in the Grand Cherokee SRT as far as the setup goes, with the style of the analog gauges there on the left and on the right. And in the middle there, you have a nice large tachometer that has other digital information you can display there. And much like any other SRT product, is chock full of whatever performance data you want in there. It's really cool. You can, of course, have the digital speedometer front and center, or you can go through every vehicle parameter, as far as temperatures for everything. You can also go in and do the lap timers and G meters and performance data and all those types of things you can have up on that screen. And so it's awesome. You can custom tailor it to exactly show the information you want it to show. And overall, they're very attractive looking gauges. I like the fonts and everything, and overall they're just really good looking. Coming over to the center of the dashboard here, this is where you'll find the awesome 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen like you see in the other FCA products, and it's a great head unit. It is so quick, it's easy to navigate, the graphics look nice, it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is a really big plus for me these days, and overall it's just a really great screen. And you also, like other SRT products, have the performance pages and the different driving modes. You can set that up, and the performance pages here for 2018 includes even a dyno graph that it'll run for you there in real time, as well as showing you your real-time horsepower, torque, and then all those timers and other metrics that you saw there on the center screen. And so overall, just a really great setup there, and the navigation maps, all that kind of stuff are pretty good as well. But yeah, overall, just a really great head unit. And then coming down, you just have your other basic controls here, a nice large volume and tune knobs, which is always appreciated. Another large knob there for your fan speed, and a couple other climate control things. You can also custom tailor the climate control settings in a more advanced fashion there on the screen, but nice to have all the basics here with actual buttons. And then you have another little row of buttons down below for launch control, and the SRT, which takes you into those driving modes that I showed you, and a few other buttons there for safety stuff. And so overall, nice and compact, simplified, and I like that a lot. As far as storage space of the Durango SRT, it's quite good, like you would expect out of any other normal Durango, and of course the Durango being an SUV has to be very versatile for growing families. So in the doors here, first you have a large map pocket with a bottle holder, which is always nice to have. Coming over to the center here, you have a nice open large cubby area that has a power outlet, 2 USB jacks, and an auxiliary port right in there, and so great to have all that right up front. And then you have 2 cup holders, and then you have a smaller pocket back here for your key or something something of that size. And then you have the center armrest, which is nice and softly padded. I like the contrast stitching on it. Anyway, you open that up, and you'll see it's a little bit smaller. This was the same case with the Jeep Grand Cherokees, the Trackhawk, and the SRT that I reviewed already, where you have this Blu-ray player which takes up half of your center cubby. So if you don't get the Blu-ray players for the back there, then you'd have more space here. Otherwise, it's pretty narrow. You can fit a pair of sunglasses in there, wallet, things like that. A phone would fit as well, but that's about the extent of it. So not a ton of useful space in there, but again, you have more space up front. And anyway, you'll also find another power outlet in there as well. Backseat space in the Durango SRT. I first apologize. We got 4 extra wheels and tires in the back of this thing because we're on a road trip called Road to SEMA, and so I don't have the time to take all those out and show you the back seat there in its full glory. But you can see with the one seat up there, you do have nice seats there in the back that are almost as sporty as the front here in this 6-seater configuration. I do believe there's a 7-seat configuration, so you can actually haul 7 people, and that would get rid of that center console you see back there as well. But that center console, while we're talking about it, is very nice. It has 2 different levels to it, so you can fit all kinds of stuff in there. You also have additional USB jacks and power outlets in there. You have additional cup holders there in that nice little center cubby, and then looking forward, you'll see there's air vents there. There's more USB jacks, power outlets, the heated seats, all that kind of stuff, and you can even have separate HDMI and AV hookups for both TVs there in the back on the right and the left sides, and those flip up and down, and that of course is how you have the Blu-ray player. Or like I said, since you have a normal power outlet down there, you could also plug in a game console and play video games on there or whatever. And so overall, really great as far as entertainment goes. And you look up at the ceiling, you'll see the additional controls there, for climate and all those types of things back there. It's overall just a really great second row. And then the third row, again, I unfortunately cannot demonstrate how much space there is back there, but I mean, this is a large SUV, so I have no doubts that you can easily fit 7 people in here comfortably, even if they are average size adults. And so overall, very usable space. And I mean, where else are you going to find a 3-row SUV with a motor that sounds this great and goes this quickly? It's really basically this and the Tesla Model X, and that thing's silent. So I mean, this is way cooler. And yeah, you can haul everyone while you're enjoying your muscle car vibe out of the Durango SRT. Trunk space in the Durango. As you can see with all the tires and wheels loaded up there, it's a large space. You can fit a lot of stuff back there, but without those third rows up, I can't really show the difference between having a third row up and down, but usually it's a smaller amount of space like what you would get in an average hatchback or something of that size, or even like a minivan, and so it's going to be compromised a little bit. But whenever you have that third row folded down, as you can see, you can fit plenty of stuff back there, a very large space, even larger than a Grand Cherokee or something like that. And so overall, just plenty of room, I think, for just about anybody. All right, so start up and go for a drive. The Durango SRT has a very cool black SRT key, and otherwise it's just a standard Dodge key here, but it's of course keyless entry and push button start. So you just leave the key in your pocket, hit the engine start button, and it roars to life. All right, so setting off in the 2018 Dodge Durango SRT. Well, first thing you notice is, like any other SUV, you have a nice high seating position. So you can see forward very well, and even though you have this slightly more bulging hood than a standard Durango, it doesn't seem to matter because you're sitting up so high. You still have a very good view forward. View out of the sides is also quite good there. You have this, fairly thick B-pillar, but not too bad. And of course, you have blind spot monitoring and all that kind of stuff these days. With your mirrors, adjusted, it's totally fine. And then view out of the back is actually quite good with a nice square window, and the rearview mirror does a really good job of showing you all of it. And so overall, a very easy SUV to see out of. All right, so let's turn down onto this back road here and see how it does. Here we go. Man, this thing really gets up and moves for this huge SUV. So the Durango SRT has a 6.4 liter 392 HEMI V8 engine that does 475 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque, and gets this big beast up and moving 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds, which is pretty impressive again for something that's as big and as heavy as this is. These weigh almost 5,400 pounds, so that's no small feat. I mean, it's a big motor, but still, that's really, really impressive. And so yeah, it's got a great sound to it too. Listen to that. It's not as as brisk as the Challenger and Chargers, but you know, for, like I said, a huge SUV, this thing gets up and moves really well. And let's go again. Split second for that downshift, and then it's wonderful. And this, of course, uses the same great, awesome ZF 8-speed automatic that's in all the other SRT products here, and it is just phenomenal. I mean, it's really quick to figure out you want to downshift. I mean, as soon as you start going into the pedal there, it's like, all right, here we go, and there it just gives you another downshift. So I love that about it. And whenever you put it in the manual mode here, it's really pretty quick. It's not, you know, razor sharp, but it is darn close. And so whenever you want to upshift, I mean, it's almost immediate. Plenty fast for any sports car, and especially plenty fast for any SUV. I think the shifting speeds in this beat basically any other 3-row SUV out there. So yeah, this thing is so much fun. It's great too, because the way that it's sprung, whenever you do floor it, it always lifts up that nose just a little bit. You really feel like you're driving a muscle car, even though you're in a Durango that can seat 7 people. It's got all the same sounds as a muscle car. It's got the great looks of a muscle car. It's got the good power of a muscle car. It's just everything about this thing, you know, if you were to blindfold someone, they'd be hard pressed to figure out what it is they're actually in. Other things to note here, though, whenever you are just cruising at normal, you know, highway speeds, it's very comfortable and quiet and serene in here. I mean, you get a nice little burble of the exhaust, but that's really it. You don't really get much wind noise, no tire noise at all, really. It's just really refined, and actually seems a little more refined than the Jeep, actually. So just a really nice cruiser. Of course, it's soft and comfortable and just feels really great. And we're up in these mountains here, and there's not too many tight corners, but we do have some more sweeping wide corners here we're going around, just to sample the handling a little bit. I mean, we're talking again about a 5,400 pound SUV that also has 4 wheels and tires in the back of it. So I'm not gonna be able to push this too much. And but you know, as I'm going around this corner here, it actually, you know, it is flatter than you would expect. I think the SRT treatment has really done a lot for the Durango, and I actually did have a chance to drive this for a couple of hours a few days ago on some other corners at nighttime, and was able to push it a little bit more, and I was really impressed. This thing, I mean, as I'm pushing it here a little bit in this corner, I mean, you know, you get a little bit of leaner, you know, in the very beginning, and then after that it just kind of settles in and does a really good job of staying planted, and it handles way better than any other 3-row SUV that I've ever driven, to be perfectly honest. It does a really good job. It feels nice and flat, and yeah, it does, I mean, especially considering the ride is so soft and smooth. You know, it's not stiff or firm by any means, and so the fact that it's able to, you know, handle corners at, you know, 60 miles an hour that are, you know, that tight very easily is really impressive, again, for something that is as large as this is. And you know, it always also, as far as handling goes, helps with putting the power down, since this one is all-wheel drive, like the Jeeps, of course, and that gives you a little bit of an advantage over the Charger or Challenger SRTs. You know, having that all-wheel drive will give you extra grip out of corners if you're ever lacking it. And another thing we can test here are these Brembo brakes, which are massive on all 4 corners. And yeah, it just yeah, it'll give you a little bit of nosedive there, and then it slows you down quick. And like I said, the brakes in this vehicle are they're very strong feeling, but there is a good amount of dead travel before you really start getting into the meat of the pad. That's the only thing I can say, which is different. Usually a lot of the SRT models, it's very quick right at the top of the pedal, and this one isn't the case. So either this one might have had brakes that are worn out a little bit more, or maybe that's just the way they set it up to be a little more relaxed here in the Durango, since it is a little bit more family oriented than the other SRT models. The throttle response is actually razor sharp. It's really nicely fine-tuned there, so that it's very responsive, combined with this transmission to give you the power that you want. Steering is also a little bit lighter than other SRT products, and again, you can have the driving modes and custom tailor that to, you know, be heavier if you'd like, but it does feel really good still, and again, very appropriate for what you would expect out of a sportier 3-row SUV. You know, let's not forget what this is, and so for all these types of reasons, I think that's why they went a little bit softer than other SRT models in a few of these, you know, little input areas. But But other than that, I mean, it still is a ton of fun and just eats up the miles like crazy. It's just a great cruiser like any of the other SRT products. Going around another corner here. I think another thing that really helps with the poise of the Durango SRT is the tire setup. So this has 295 wide tires all around, which is only 10 millimeters smaller than the wide body Challengers with its 305. So I mean, a much wider tire than you get on the standard, even like the standard Hellcats, or especially the SRT models usually have like 275 wide tires. So here on the Durango to be 295s, I think gives it a really nice base and really gives you that extra little bit of grip that you like here with this SUV. So overall, it's like I said, if you were to take one of these down a back road, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised that even though it feels heavy, it does a really good job with what it's working with, and I think it'll impress most people. Another thing that's pretty impressive is, although this is a performance-oriented SUV, it actually is a little more practical because of this larger motor. This is actually, because you have this 6.4-liter HEMI, it has the best towing capacity for its class. It does 8,700 pounds of towing if you'd like, and so really awesome. So again, if you like towing things, that are on the heavier side, that's another upside here to the Durangos. You're able to pull more stuff, and so I mean, the Durango, it seems so well-rounded. If you absolutely need a 3-row SUV, I mean, obviously if you don't, you could go for something that's a little sportier. You can go for a Trackhawk Jeep, or even the SRT Jeep's a little bit smaller, but this is a little longer of a wheelbase, I think. So I think it feels a little more planted, and I mean, so you can carry 3 rows of people in this thing, but you still don't have to give up your awesome V8 engine sound. You don't have to give up the awesome power and the drama and the theater that comes with SRT products, and so it does it all. It really does, and it's impressive. I mean, obviously a big heavy SUV like this with a large powerful motor isn't going to get the greatest of fuel economy. That's the only potential downside, but if you're buying one of these, chances are you probably don't care about fuel economy too much, and so it's a non-issue. But yeah, overall, I mean, there's a lot to like about the Durango SRT, and I think personally, even if I had a ton of kids, or if I was hauling a lot of people all the time and I needed 3 rows, or I just needed the cargo space, this would probably be my pick, because where else are you going to find something this cool? You're not. It's so awesome. It's such a great package. I'm so glad that Dodge listened to their fans and gave them what they wanted. People were asking for a Durango SRT, and they delivered very, very well. It's just a really well-rounded package. It's awesome in just about every single way, and one of the coolest SUVs out there. So anyway, huge thanks once again to Dodge for providing me with this awesome Durango SRT to review for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts about the Durango SRT in the comments below. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.